not recording it?
No.
Oh. How was your week?
I mean, we did see each other yesterday.
Yeah. I feel like that always fucking sucks.
No, I mean, look, to be honest, my week's been... It's been alright. I did the wisdom teeth removal for the top 2. And honestly, I was expecting pain the entire fucking time. Nothing.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, it's good. It's great. But it's just like... I feel like I missed out on some sort of experience. Because, like, when I talked to Daisy when she got back from work, she was like, it looks like nothing, like, happened to you at all. Like, you just went for a fucking checkup. Like, no. Like, the dude literally, like... It was funny because it took, like, 10 minutes. Yeah. The whole thing took, like, 10 minutes. I thought it was going to be, like, maybe 40 minutes. But no, he just went in there. You know, he numbed me first, like, 2...
He went to town.
He did. Like, two vials of, like, anesthesia, like, on both sides. And then, like, he got the pliers. He went to, like, my bad tooth first, which is good, thank God. And then he's like, you're going to feel, like, just a little bit of pressure. And then I heard, like, a crack.
Oh, I hate that sound.
But, like, I didn't feel it. So I went, huh? I was so confused and, like, out of the blue. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then he, like, moved on to, like, the next tooth. He was like, all right, same thing here. But I didn't hear, like, a crack. I felt nothing. And then he's like, all right, we're done. That's it.
That's dope.
I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then, like, you know, they put the gauze in. They're telling me the procedures, like, you can't, like, don't force your spit out. Like, don't spit for a couple days. Because it's going to, like, open up the wound back up. Rinse with salt water. Like, don't brush your teeth for a while. Which is fucking annoying the shit out of me. Because I feel my teeth dirty. And I want to brush it. Because I can't yet. He's just like, it took her almost, like, 2 weeks to get back to brushing. I'm like, fuck. It makes me feel, like, so... Ugh.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, it was just weird. Like, the experience is weird. Like, I didn't expect it to be so quick, so painless. The only thing I just... Oh, you know what? I also, like, when I got up from the chair to check out my bad tooth, because the whole reason why is, like, my top right tooth, I knew for a fact, was hurting. And it was causing me a shit ton of migraines for, like, the past year. Like, to the point where I couldn't even sleep some of the nights. Like, I would toss and turn for hours, but that tooth was so fucking painful. But now I don't feel it, thank God. So when I went to go look at the tooth, fuck, I mean, I was right. Holy shit. Because it was, like, half exposed. So, like...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture?
Huh? No, I didn't. Fuck, I should have taken a picture.
Yeah, you know I like seeing the
that's
stuff.
on me. That's on me. I thought, because people ask, like, if they can have the tooth. And I asked, and I was like, can I have it? And they're like, no. Yeah. I'm like, all right, fuck it, why not? But, man, it was gross. The other tooth was, like, fine. It was healthy. Just like a normal tooth.
Interesting. I do not remember when I got my wisdom teeth taken out. It was, like, a few years back. I hated it.
The only thing I hate about this whole experience, though, is that I'm more aware now of my other teeth. Like, I can feel, like, the position of it. And it's, like, weird.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more aware. Not now, but, like, the first 2.5 days. I was so aware of, like, my cheeks and, like, the tooth surrounding it, like, the back molars. I was like, I don't like the sensation of it. It was grossing me out.
I feel like, once it starts healing, you can't help but put your tongue over it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It just, don't do it. No, Trust me.
But now it's like, I feel better. I have, like, a fucking shit ton of ibuprofen I'm not going to fucking use. I mean, I know if, like, I have, like, bad days at work, I know I can probably use it. Thank God.
Yeah, but I mean...
Just gotta keep taking the antibiotic ones and I'll be fine.
I'm glad everything is good and dandy.
Right? Me too.
You were even able to enjoy the K-barbecue.
Fucking barely. Holy shit.
Really?
I mean, like, I enjoyed it just fine. Like, I was able to eat. But if you couldn't tell, like, I was eating slower than usual.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying so hard to, like, use my front teeth.
I could have cut the thingy smaller when we were cooking.
No, I was, like, tearing it apart, too.
Mm.
Like, the thing with beef bulgogi was that, like, since it's so, like, stringy, it's able to, like, come apart fast and easy.
Yeah.
I was able to tear it apart, like, in my mouth with my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and my mouth and my tongue with me, like, I can maneuver it pretty well.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
Everybody, welcome back. Did I say everybody? Everybody, welcome back to the Creepy Caffeinated Chronicles.
Yeah.
Where we talk about spooky stuff. We just relax a little bit. We don't have really much of a big topic to talk about. It's just us hanging out, chilling out. And what about you? How's been your week?
Work. Work. It hasn't been that bad. It's just that it's so hard at work to try to be very zen and calm.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just these people, like honestly, healthcare is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like even the most patient people go crazy because there's 2 patients at my job. Like, because we have 59 patients. We're at full capacity, which is 59 patients a building, and the whole building.
What a weird number.
We only have 4 nurse assistants.
Yeah.
To take care of 59 people, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We're each getting 15 patients. So, I mean, we're supposed to have 1 more, but my job doesn't give a shit. So, we're stuck having to take care of 15 people. And for the first 2 days of my shift, because I work 4 on and then 2 off, I was in charge of the 3rd assignment. And the 3rd assignment has 2.5 fall risks, basically. And there's one little lady, she gets up every 10 fucking minutes, dude. Same with this other guy. Every 10 minutes. And he just does not understand anything. Like, he has, like, really bad Alzheimer's, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, like, frustrating, and you have to try to keep calm. But I feel like there's only so much you can do. Especially because even though I didn't have them for my last 2 assignments, my other coworker that did have them, they were in the middle of doing other stuff. They were on their lunch. They were in the middle of doing changes. And then I would still go in there and I would still have to soothe these people, put them back into bed, put them in a wheelchair, something, just for them to get up again in less than 10 minutes. The whole night. And it's hard for you to do anything. It's hard for you to do your charting.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for you to even do other changes because the only thing you hear is the fucking alarm going off and it's waking everybody up. So, it's just, oh my god. One of the the male patient, like, he couldn't even understand the use of a urinal. He needed to go to the bathroom. We can't take him to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you need to use a bedpan or you need to use a urinal. So, I'm helping him with the urinal, and he just doesn't understand. He's like, it's going to get everywhere. And I said, no, it's not, because your penis is inside the urinal. He's like, no, but it's going to get everywhere. And I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, he just couldn't comprehend. Which, I mean, it happens, Yeah. It happens, and then so I have to try to find a way. And I can't just be like, oh, we'll go in your brief. Because first of all, that's disgusting. Mm-hmm. That's inhumane. Mm-hmm. That's rude. And I will never, ever do that. Like, imagine, like, it's so inhumane. I would not want that done to me at all.
I mean, that other facility that you and Izzy were in,
yeah,
they probably would have done that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure this job, too.
Oh, shit.
I'm pretty sure. Dude, there are bad CNAs everywhere. Speaking of bad CNAs, I was working with the bad CNA, too. Yeah.
Oh, the one that you were talking about the other day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was a hoot. And then the day after, she didn't even show up, and we were short-staffed. So now we had 3 people taking care of 59 people.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
We all had 20 to 21 patients. And it's not okay. It's not okay at all. My job just doesn't care. Why would they care? All they care about is the money.
That's what any job ever cares about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You know what? But it's fun. Like with Amazon, I'm aware of how much money some of like these like the assistant managers make. Because like at the end of fucking dogs, at the end of of like the last 2 hours of the shift, they'll start to like bombard all the trailers with like smaller boxes. And it's because when it goes through the sorter on top, like it doesn't matter what size of a box. If it's like super tiny or super big, it still counts it as one. So the building would cheat the system and just throw tiny boxes to make their numbers. And you know, by the end of the year, the assistant managers and managers make their bonus that way. How much they whatever goes through the scanners and everything. So I've been telling all the fucking employees and all like the new hires, like, hey, like during the last hours, just chill out. That's something like, I'm like, that's how they make their money. Like they're just wanting you to overwork yourself so they could have a little like fucking extra cheddar in their bank.
Yeah.
So I'm like, chill out. No need to break yourself here.
And to be honest, I can't even be mad because, I mean, this whole world revolves around money.
It's the root of all evil.
But yeah, it kind of, dude, it was bad, man. It was bad having to deal with these people. Like, there was to a point where I really had to, like, take a breather, and I had to put her in the wheelchair. I had to put one of them on the wheelchair. I brought her to the nurse's station where we can keep an eye on her, and, like, while she's in the wheelchair, there's, like, a machine, like a small little device. It looks like a little alarm. And it's clipped onto the back of the wheelchair, and then it's a string. It's clipped onto the back of her shirt so that if she were to stand, the string pulls the little alarm and it unclips because of the magnet, because it's a magnet connected to it on the other side. It unclips and then it starts beeping really, really loud, like a fire alarm, dude. So it's, first of all, it's freaking scary when you're in the middle of doing something and then you just hear it. And I was so frustrated that she kept going up, and I said, you know what? Whatever. If she doesn't want to sleep, fine then. She's not going to sleep. She's going to hang out with me the rest of the night. I put her in her chair, put her at the nurse's station so that I can keep an eye on her. I sit her down. She starts crying. I'm all like, what's wrong, love? Come on, talk to me. And then she's all like, I have to go poop.
No.
I was like, I just fucking sat you down on the chair. You could have told me when the commode was right next to you and I was asking you what you needed. And I literally, like, looked up at the ceiling and I took a breather. And then I looked at my coworker. And I was like, this is my 13th reason. And then I put on some gloves. And then I rolled her back into her room. Put her on the fucking commode. Just for her to not poop. And I put her back in her chair. And then I put her back in front of the nurse's station. And then I was like, if you sit tight for me, breakfast will be here very soon. Breakfast? Yes, breakfast. Yay! She knocked the fuck out.
Oh my god.
She knocked the fuck out! And then 10 minutes later, she woke up again, crying.
Speaking of which, when did you knock out?
I did not. I was falling in and out of sleep in your dining table.
Lies. It looked like you had a good nap. That's what it looked like to me.
No, I literally had, like, probably just knocked out. I've been literally falling in and out of sleep, and I've been making sure that I was trying to stay awake. I could not. I was tired. Now I feel like I don't know, I chugged the coffee, so I feel like I'm fast as fuck, boy.
You always, like, leave it and it gets so cold and you chug it afterwards.
I know. Like, I don't know, something about lukewarm or cold coffee just hits a little different.
I could just start making you iced coffee if that's what you want. Like,
no, because it's too cold.
What? What?
Not right now, because it's too cold out. Like, I'm literally shivering my timbers right now. My timbers have been shivered.
Fuck. Okay. You're just like my sister-in-law. She loves, like, her iced coffee. To me, at first, I thought it was weird because she would make hot coffee and then just I don't know. When I was younger, I thought it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like making hot coffee and just pouring it in ice, but it's literally iced coffee. That's what it is. I thought it was weird at first, but
yeah. Happy early Valentine's Day to anybody listening.
Fuck them, man. Couples.
Mean.
Make me sick. Tweet.
Mean.
Why should they get me happy?
It's not always about romantic love, but platonic love too. Happy Valentine's Day, buddy.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Just like next month. I'm even going to go get my wisdom teeth checkup on the 14th too. So, you know.
At least you'll get all the love over there.
Yeah, for like a few minutes.
Hurrah.
They'll probably make it the other appointment for my other teeth.
Oh, who's gonna do the story first today?
That's what I was asking.
Should we do a little flip the coin thing?
Yeah. I have a coin here somewhere.
Or we can just get your phone and then be like, hey Siri, choose heads or tails.
Nah, fuck that. We're going old fashioned. Ready? Heads or tails?
Heads.
Alright. Heads, you go first. Tails, I go first. Boom!
You're fired.
I'm going first.
It
fell on the floor. But still works.
Imagine a knockout listening to your story.
Oh, you might. I feel like you might. I think there was one episode where I think you were falling asleep on me.
Was it? Maybe.
I think so.
Probably.
It would have been like our first couple episodes. I think one of them you were like... Because I think you had almost pulled like an all-nighter.
Yeah.
So I think you were
Dude,
like, you were really falling asleep on me.
Was it last week? I ran on 2 hours. Was it?
I think it was Krampus.
Probably.
I think it was the Krampus episode where...
Probably.
Because like you and Daisy were like so warm on the couch, you guys were almost knocking out. Daisy knocked out for sure.
Yeah.
So I think you were too.
I need a shirt that says my tummy hurts and I'm being very brave about it.
No, you need the cap that says that. I've been getting that one like advertised to me on Instagram like, constantly.
That's great. I also want one that says I love submissive boys, and it's like the girl stick figure with like the belt like standing on top of the guy stick figure.
I need that shirt where it's like I'm very emotionally distraught or some shit. It's like if a goth woman want to take advantage of me, now's the time. Like I think that shit's so fucking hilarious. I did that shit in a hoodie.
I got that dog in me.
It's the Costco hot dog.
That was great.
Alright, so this one comes from the I feel like we always do r/
no sleep. Well, you know what? I tried looking at other channels. Is that what they're called?
Subreddits.
There we go.
Yeah.
They weren't as long. I feel like they'd be too small.
I found one that was like a good length. I found two that were good lengths, but the way that they were telling their story was so weird.
Yeah.
That I just couldn't read it properly.
I was telling my friend that. He's all like, it's not small, it's average. I was like,
I thought they were pretty average stories. You know,
I'm fucking done.
You know, it's those short ones that really get the blood and fear pumping. So this one's from r/no sleep, and it's called If Looks Could Kill.
Nice.
You said that that you looked past this one too.
Yeah, I scrolled past it.
All right, so a couple years back, I worked at a peanut packing factory, stacking boxes of pallets to get prepared for delivery.
Hold up, like the peanuts in this, like in the shipping, or like actual like peanuts, like cacahuates japoneses and shit like that.
It does not state anything further than that. I'm gonna guess just peanuts, like the.
I was actually invested because I really like peanuts.
I don't. I'm just reading what it says here.
Okay.
What the fuck?
I'm sad now. I really want to know what kind of peanuts you're talking about.
Ooh, I don't have the information here.
Okay.
I can ask the person who fucking wrote the story. I'll DM them and be like, hey, I really need to know if it's like...
What kind of peanuts are you talking about?
If it's packing peanuts or if it's like food peanuts, I need to know.
Are they
asking for a friend?
You can imagine that, like, I'm literally asking for a friend, I swear to God.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. Packing peanuts.
Yeah, we'll just keep it at... We'll say food. Like, we'll say, like, little package
peanuts.
of
peanuts,
well, yeah.
Have you read the whole thing?
Skim through it.
Okay, I haven't even read mine.
Oh, okay. So, alright. I work with an old with an older coworker named Darius, who was in charge of operating the packaging machine. The machine was old and what the fuck? And the machine was old, and corporate was too cheap to upgrade to a better model, so it consistently broke down, seemingly at random. If Darius took too long fixing the problem, he would hear from the boss. Darius was always in a bad mood, ranting under his breath, snapping at people for the slightest comment. It didn't help that Darius was a big, intimidating man, which made aggressive attitude all the more frightful. There were times I thought he would walk out during work, but I guess he was too stubborn to let himself quit. I could relate. At the time, I was itching to give myself a 2-week notice and never set foot in the factory again. But the job market was rough, so I had to deal with the cards I had. I don't think there's like any mention of what kind of peanuts there is in this fucking story.
I'm sad. I'm gonna. This is my 13th reason why. This is my 14th reason why.
I'm gonna guess it's maybe the packing peanuts. Like what are they even made of? Like styrofoam?
I would hope so. Yeah.
They're fucking delicious.
The styrofoam peanuts?
Yeah, the pink ones? Yeah.
You eat them?
No. You never ate anything like as a kid like that?
No.
Huh?
No.
I remember when I was a kid, when we used to live in Compton, they used to sell... they don't sell the flavor of like ice cream anymore, but like it was like icicle pops that had this unique, sweet, pink flavored ice cream. I don't know what flavor it was, but it was so unique that I always associate that flavor with the color pink. And I remember when I was in elementary...
What the fuck?
I remember when I was in elementary school, I was like, I had this pink crayon with me. I'm like, I wonder if it tastes exactly the fucking same. So I like bit down on it. I chewed like twice. I'm like, yeah, that's not it. So I spat it out.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Bro, I haven't been able to find a taste that tastes like that. I don't know what flavor it was.
You're right here eating pink shit. I'm right here with a magnifying glass burning ants alive in my backyard.
I was doing what boys do, basically.
Joining Boy Scouts?
No. We could never afford that. Not at all.
What were boys doing?
Destroying shit.
Oh.
Eating. Like anything they could find, basically. Falling, getting injured. Fucking got stabbed by a fence. Impaled. Impaled is the right word, actually. That's a good story.
Yeah. That's great.
I'll tell the story eventually if you want me to, but it's...
Okay.
One day the boss had held a meeting, saying that the company supervisor was coming to inspect the workplace for proper quality control. We were encouraged to be presentable and be on our best behavior like we were a bunch of school children. The day the supervisor came, things were running smoothly at first. The machine was operating as normal, and the boxes were coming at a regular rate. But as the supervisor was looking over the shoulder of an employee, a couple rows away from me, the machine started to malfunction, and as usual, Darius was swearing like the sailor trying to fix it. The lane was temporarily shut down, leaving me with nothing to do but watch as the boss hurriedly came over and started what the fuck? And started at it. What the fuck? This person has no fucking right grammar here. Because it came over and started at it with Darius.
And stared at it.
No, started. He put started.
Okay, but...
He stared at it with Darius.
Okay.
Fucking Redditors, man. I'd seen Darius finally reach his boiling point because he shouted back so loud you can hear it from the moon. His face was skewered and in such an angry expression the boss cowered like a mouse in his presence. The supervisor came over and asked what was the problem, but the boss only mumbled. The supervisor then turned to Darius and said, "You know, we are trying to facilitate a positive work environment, and your attitude isn't helping. Maybe if you did your job right, you wouldn't feel the need to have these childish outbursts." What happened next still disturbs me to relocate. Darius turned to look directly into the supervisor's eyes. His face was like a gargoyle. His mouth was a hideous frown. His eyes were wide and bloodshot, while his brow was creased with bulging veins crisscrossing along his forehead.
You want to know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Jack from The Incredibles when he turns into that little red monster. The red monster gorilla.
God, it's been a while since I've seen the movie too. Okay. For a moment, nothing happened. No one said anything. Then the left side of the supervisor's face started to droop, like if it was melting off.
Hey, yo.
He then dropped to the floor, twitching for a moment before laying limp. Darius's eyes never left him. The bosses finally gained his bearings and called the ambulance. The supervisor was declared dead on the scene. Since Darius didn't touch the supervisor, he wasn't blamed for his death. But I felt otherwise. I always thought that Darius might kill someone one day. The man was a ticking time bomb. But the way how he did it was what really disturbed me. Because someone contains so much hate and anger that they can inflict death.
If looks could kill.
On someone through a look. I don't know, but I was glad I didn't get on his bad side before I had left 2 months later. And that's it.
What in the world? Okay, but like, homie looked like a gargoyle. What the fuck?
I guess he just looked at him so mad and he just melted on the fucking spot.
Weird.
It's kind of cool.
No, okay, but this actually reminds me of something that happened in real life.
What?
What? I mean, I feel like, okay, it's not similar, but it's kind of similar. Okay.
Okay.
So, it's literally, like, dude, it's literally not similar at all, but somebody just ends up dying, and then the other one gets blamed even though they didn't do anything. So, there was a police officer that's, like, 50 or 60 years old. He was arresting an immigrant, right? And the immigrant doesn't know how to speak Spanish very well or English because he speaks a native language.
Mm-hmm.
So, they were having communication issues, and he was arresting him for something. And this officer ended up having a heart attack. And this boy, because I think he was like 17, 18, he is literally in trial right now for murder because this police officer had a heart attack while he was arresting him.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I think I might have heard this, actually.
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you or I just shared it.
Yeah.
In general, like on my stories and stuff like that, like, yeah, that's literally what's happening right now. Like, it's not really if the looks could kill, but I feel like it's something similar. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't care. Whatever they say, it's racially motivated. You can obviously tell.
The other day, it came across my Instagram feed again. Like, I haven't seen it in a long time. I think it was like barely last year where this like 17-year-old was eating McDonald's in the parking lot in front of in a McDonald's. Yeah. And this officer came by. I don't remember what for, but I think for like expired tags or something. And he's telling, the door is open to the driver's side, and the officer's telling him to get out. And so the teenager just goes like, I just want to finish my burger.
Oh, is it the one where he drives off and the officer shoots him?
No, he wasn't driving off. He was putting the car in reverse so he could park. But then the officer just fucking takes out his gun and just starts blasting.
Yeah, and then that's when he drives off because he got shot. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I'm not sure if he drove off, but he died regardless.
The boy?
Well, I think it was attempted. He almost died, I think. But it came across my For You page again. And that apparently the dude was fired.
Hell yeah.
And then he was convicted of 2 attempts of attempted murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, too, I think last year, Rice Gum. That happened to Rice Gum when he was in the parking lot eating something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People, it's because that was, people SWAT, which is...
Yeah.
Ugh.
People are crazy.
I
ain't religious, but they need Jesus.
That one was really ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of Rice Gum, but, like, he was being so patient. I don't like him at all. With them, and those officers really wanted to try something. Yeah. Like, they were power hungry.
Yep. Alrighty. That's freaking weird, that story.
It's a little weird.
Yeah. I'm still... We shall never know what kind of peanuts they're talking about.
You saying penis or peanuts?
Peanuts.
It sounds like you said penis right there.
I'm channeling my inner Anya. I want to know what kind of peanuts they're talking about.
No, I mean, there's all kinds of penises. You got...
I said peanuts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure, peanuts. Yeah.
Oh, this one's kind of long, which is great.
Alright, good, because mine was short.
Yeah. My friends were murdered when I was 14. I know what killed them. It wasn't human.
My favorite kind.
Once upon a time... I'm just kidding. Okay. 20 years is a long time to live with an awful secret. And it's worse when it's a secret you can't share with anyone else. Just an FYI, I have not read this at all. I just literally read the title. I scrolled. I was like, okay, this is long. Great. Let's do it. Okay, secret share with anyone else. Not only because you're afraid of how they will judge you, but because they'll probably think you're insane. I know if someone else experienced what I did when I was 14 and told me, I think they were nuts. If I had experienced it myself, that is. I never told anyone. Not the police, not my family, not the families of Dylan and Greg and Zach and Terry. Not even the therapist I see regularly to deal with the lingering guilt and trauma. I think she suspects I'm holding back, that I know more than I'm letting on, and she prods me, encouraging me to get it out. She tells me it would be beneficial to come clean and to put it out in the open, but I just can't. No human being in their right mind would believe such a story. But I want to get it out there somehow to someone. I want to unload the burden that I've been carrying all these years. That's why I'm posting it here, anonymously on Reddit No Sleep. I want to tell others the truth about what happened to me and my friends on Halloween 2003. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
You got my attention for sure. I don't care what you think of me after you read it. Judge me or call me crazy all you want. I just want an impersonal audience to know the truth and to give me their opinion. I think that would make me feel better. Me and my best friends, Dylan and Greg, were in 8th grade that fall. We had been friends since we were 7. Middle school is that awkward transitional stage between grade school and high school where you start to shift away from being a kid and start to mature towards adulthood. Even though we would be starting high school in just another year, in many ways we were closer to 12-year-olds rather than teenagers in terms of maturity. I'm telling you that so you have some understanding of why we did what we did that night. Terry was a new kid in school, a shy, geeky kid. Even by middle school standards was pretty awkward. He was desperate to fit in, to make friends, and be accepted by his peers. I guess that's why we took advantage of him.
Oh, Jesus.
Please try to understand, we didn't consider ourselves to be bullies. Yeah, right. We never intended for anyone to get hurt. Yeah, right. We just wanted to scare him. That's all.
How does that not classify as bullying?
Dude.
What?
we weren't intentionally trying to be cruel. It was just supposed to be a dumb prank. We were stupid kids, and stupid kids do stupid things. It was mostly Dylan's idea. Good, you deserve to feel guilt. It was mostly Dylan's idea, but me and Greg went along with it. Oh yeah, blame the other guy. In hindsight, I wish to God we hadn't. Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I gotta stop putting in my 2 cents.
Yeah.
But how the fuck were we supposed to know? How could anyone know that what we did that night was going to result in so much horror and bloodshed? Dylan told Terry that if he wanted to hang out with us, he had to pass an initiation first. To become part of our group, first he had to spend the night in the old McGruder house alone. And it being late October and Halloween fast approaching, that was the perfect night for Terry to take the dare. The old McGruder house in question was an abandoned old wreck that stood at the edge of a cornfield on the outskirts of town. A rotting, decrepit 2-story house that had been deserted for as long as anyone could remember. We didn't even know who the original owner had been. McGruder was just a name Dylan made up for dramatic effect. The 3 of us had explored the house before, and even though its outward appearance was admittedly pretty creepy, peeling paint, broken windows, sagging roof inside, it was truthfully rather nondescript and unthreatening. Just empty rooms with tattered wallpaper and dusty old furniture. I could tell Terry was apprehensive, maybe even a bit scared. But he swallowed his reservations and accepted Dylan's challenge. He just wanted to make friends that badly. That's one of the things that haunts me the most. October 23rd, the Shibuya incident.
Oh my god.
October 31st was a chilly, windy night when the four of us, me, Dylan, Greg, and Terry, rode our bikes out to the old house. We had met at Greg's house, telling our parents we would be spending the night to watch horror movies. Greg's parents worked both nights and wouldn't notice we were there. When we arrived at the abandoned house, we dismounted our bikes and just stood for a few moments staring. None of us have ever been out here at night, and it looked 10 times creepier than it did during the day. The decayed facade was almost resembled a face. The dark windows, empty eye sockets, and the front doorway, a gaping black mouth. A cold autumn breeze rustled through the bare trees that surrounded the house, rattling their skeletal branches. I shivered and pulled up the zipper on my jacket. I glanced at Terry and saw him gulp nervously as he took in the sight. He was trembling slightly, and not just from the breeze. He was scared. We hadn't even entered yet, and the poor kid already looked like he was about to jump out of his skin. I felt a flash of guilt because I knew what Dylan had planned. Dylan took off the backpack he had brought along, rummaged around, and brought out 3 flashlights and a battery-powered lantern. He kept the lantern for himself and passed out the former to me, Greg, and Terry. Without a word, he gestured for us to follow him, then started towards the house. I exchanged a slightly uneasy glance with Greg. I think he was also feeling bad, knowing what we had in store for Terry. Then we went after Dylan, Terry trailing hesitantly behind us. Dylan stepped through the doorway. The front door itself was long gone, either removed from its hinges ages ago, or simply rotted away with the passage of time, and disappeared from the view, but we could see the glow of his lantern inside. Me and Greg paused for a second just outside the doorway, Terry behind us. We exchanged another nervous look and then passed through the threshold into the abandoned house. Dylan was standing in the middle of what had been the living room, waiting for us, lantern in hand. Me, Greg, and Terry looked around the place, shining our flashlights around. There was a huge stone fireplace in the room, some old, splintered chairs, and the remains of what had probably once been a sofa or a couch, but was now a heap of crumbling termite-eaten wood and rotten, mildewy upholstery.
Ew.
I know, right? Apart from a thick coating of dust and the heap of dried leaves that had blown in through the front door, the living room was empty. Dylan sat down on the floor and motioned for us to do the same. We did, sitting in a semicircle like kids at a campfire gathered to hear a ghost story, which is exactly what happened next. Dylan proceeded to tell us the lurid, blood-curdling history of the house and its prior residents, the McGrudders. According to Dylan, back in the 1950s, the house had been owned by a widowed old man named McGrudder, who lived there with his adult daughter. Sorry, I read that so weird. Who lived there with his adult daughter.
No, I think you read it just fine.
I feel like it sounded too run-on.
No.
McGrudder was a recluse who was seldom seen, only coming into town once a month to buy supplies. He was rumored to be an evil man who cruelly mistreated his daughter, who he never allowed to leave the house. Because he never attended church, there was even rumors that he was a devil worshipper and practiced satanic rites. Several young children disappeared from the town, and they suspected McGrudder was somehow responsible, but with no evidence they couldn't arrest him. After a while, people noticed that McGrudder hadn't made his regular once-a-month trip to the general store to stock up on groceries. In fact, no one in town had seen McGrudder in well over a month. A group of townspeople went to his house to investigate. There they made a gruesome discovery. Old man McGrudder and his daughter were both dead, their bodies torn to pieces and scattered throughout the house.
Damn.
The sheriff later said it looked like they had been torn apart by wild animals. Their bodies were covered with claw marks, and they had been partially eaten.
Okay.
Supposedly, when they went down into the basement, they had found a pentagram drawn on the floor with blood, old witchcraft books, and a pile of charred bones belonging to the missing children.
See, that's what a black bear does right there. Definitely an animal, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's so dumb.
Well, what's the saying go? If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white...
You're fucked.
If it's white, good night.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still score up, though. I'm gonna be fucking Eugene and just run these hands.
These hands are rated E for everyone, even if I die. They never solved the murders. But the town suspected that McGruder must have been performing a satanic ritual and somehow something had gone wrong. Perhaps he had summoned a demon that had killed him and his daughter. The house stood empty for more than 5 years, but then a new family moved into town and bought it because it was so cheap. Me. Shit, during this recession, I don't give a fuck. Oh, you wanna hunt? You want a room to yourself? Here you go. You can have that area. I'll have the rest of the house.
I keep seeing so many, new properties around the area that are,
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
It's the down payment is $20,000.
Oh my god.
I'm like, fuck, that's expensive as shit.
So much.
But the houses are new and they're beautiful. And I'm showing my cousins, I'm like, look, you guys want to move out and do your own thing. You guys want to get a house together. Let's save up $20,000. I'm like, and they're like, yeah, fuck it. That sounds like a solid plan. I'm like, oh shit, all right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all can do it if you put your mind to it.
But that's so much money.
I know.
Fuck.
I know. It'll be worth it in the end.
I wouldn't mind my own little space. Hopefully away from the neighbors here and the hearing of trains constantly moving back and forth. It'd be a nice change of pace.
Yeah. Okay. The townspeople tried to warn them about the house and its horrifying past, but they just laughed them off. They were from the city, and they didn't believe in stupid superstitions. Me. They had scored a great deal on the place, and they weren't going to be scared off by a bunch of ignorant hicks. A month passed uneventfully, and then the family just disappeared. They weren't murdered. There were no bodies. They were just gone. Vanished without a trace. No signs of foul play. All their possessions were still in the house, and their car was still parked outside. It was as if they had just disappeared off the face of the earth.
I'm so glad you're talking about that part, because it's almost like my story for next week's episode.
AKA the one we're gonna record right after this.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, continue.
Okay, great. After that, no one dared to live in the house. It just stood there vacant for decades, slowly falling into ruin. I need to stress that Dylan's whole story was total bullshit. Everything he had told us was pulled straight from his ass, made up specifically for Terry's benefit, and it had the desired effect. As Dylan told his story, Terry's eyes got wider and wider with fearful wonder and dread. He bought it hook, line, and sinker. Poor guy was just too trusting. Me and Greg both knew Dylan's story was fake, but we played along, pretending to be equally freaked out. Dylan fell silent, a grim, thoughtful look on his face. He glanced at his watch and announced that it was 20 minutes till midnight. He handed Terry his lantern and told him he had to remain inside the house until dawn, by himself. The three of us would be waiting outside to make sure he didn't try to cheat and sneak away. If he lasted until 7 a.m., he could consider himself to be part of the group. Damn.
That's so... Why? Oh, Jesus.
I would just grab a sleeping bag and I'd just sleep in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you could basically do.
Yeah, I'd be like, good night. We stood up, wished him good luck, and then left the house, one by one. I was the last to leave. I looked back at Terry just once. He stood there trembling, scared shitless, but with the look of almost pitiful determination on his face. I remember him like that, frightened but resolved to prove his bravery to us, because it was the last time I ever saw him alive. I joined Dylan and Greg outside, and we returned to where we parked our bikes. As soon as we were far enough, Dylan and Greg's grave expressions broke, and they began to snicker. Dylan fished around in his jacket pocket and removed the small battery-powered receiver. It belonged to a baby monitor Dylan had brought at the local mall a couple days back. The transmitter was hidden inside the old house. You see, what we had neglected to tell Terry is that we had managed to rope Greg's older brother, Zach, who was 16, into dressing up in a pretty impressive demon costume, complete with the realistic latex mask, and hiding in one of the abandoned houses upstairs rooms an hour before we had shown up. He was waiting up there now. And at exactly 20 minutes at midnight, Zach was going to start making some scary noises, subtle at first, shuffling footsteps and creaking floorboards. If Terry was brave enough to go up and investigate, Zach would jump out and ambush him there. If he wasn't, then in another 10 minutes, at 12:10, Zach was going to move up and make a terrifying groaning sounds and demonic growls. There he was going to gradually descend the stairs and confront Terry in the living room. We would hear Terry's horrified reaction over the receiver just before he fled the house in a panic, probably screaming at the top of his lungs as he did so. Yeah, it was a mean prank, but we were just teenagers, and to make it up to Terry, we had agreed we would let him be friends with us afterwards if he was still interested, that is.
That's so bullshit. I would just find some different people. Fuck that.
Yep. We waited there, listening to the receiver as the minutes slowly crept in. We could hear slight shuffling sounds, probably Terry moving around in the living room. Maybe he was pacing to kill time, waiting for dawn to come. And then he started humming what I think was an Avril Lavigne song. This caused Dylan and Greg to snicker again. I looked at my watch, 11:55, 5 more minutes. We listened. Suddenly we hear Terry's voice through the receiver speaker. "Hello?" he said uncertainly. "Is someone there?" Dylan quickly raised his finger to his lips and motioned for silence. That was it. We listened intently. "Hello?" Terry said again nervously. "Is someone down there?" At this I saw Dylan frown slightly, confused. Is someone down there? The noises were supposed to be coming from upstairs where Zach was hiding. But Terry was apparently reacting to something he was hearing in the basement. "Hello?" Terry said a third time. His voice was fainter, as if he had moved further away from the hidden transmitter to see what was making whatever sound he was hearing. We listened, waiting for what came next. Silence for about a minute. Then we heard a piercing scream, coming simultaneously from the receiver in Dylan's hand and the house itself. A high, warbling cry of absolute terror. It cut off abruptly. For several seconds there was total silence. Then all three of us flinched as a hideous roar emanated from the receiver. A nerve-shattering, bestial bellow of pure, unearthly rage. It was the sound that froze the blood in my veins, primal and completely inhuman. The receiver fell silent, and the three of us looked at each other, shuddering, our eyes wide with shock. We didn't turn. Oh, hold up, sorry. They did turn. We turned to face the house. We stood there silently, waiting for Terry to appear in the doorway. He didn't. Minutes passed, and there was no sign of him or of Greg's brother, Zach. We called out their names, but there was no answer. Dread seized my heart with a cold, clutching hand. Dread and fear. Dylan was close to panicking. He wanted us to get the hell out right then and there, to get back on our bikes and to ride home as fast as we could. But Greg angrily refused to leave. Terry might be hurt. Maybe there was a wild animal in there that attacked him. And besides, his brother was still in there too. We had to help them. Greg was right too. We couldn't just leave him in there. With a great deal of reluctance, the three of us headed back to the house. We reasoned that maybe Terry had somehow found out we were setting him up for a prank. Maybe he had turned the tables and was trying to prank us in return. I'm not sure if any of us believed that, though. We entered the living room and aimed our flashlights around, calling out Terry and Zach's names. There was no sign of them. We listened, but there was nothing but silence. And I did notice something. The house smelled different. When we had been in there earlier, it was unpleasant, but not unusual. Musty, dusty odor you would associate with long abandoned homes. A combination of dry rot, mildew, mold, and the dank smell of decaying wood. Those smells were still there, but now they'd been overlaid with an entirely different smell. Something that was hard... Is it blood?
Most likely,
Something that was hard to describe. The rank feral odor, organic and savage, of something alive. It was something you'd smell in a zoo. The smell of a predator's den. So blood. Blood and rotting flesh, maybe.
No, I think it's like the like the overall smell of something, like an animal, like a wild animal.
Yeah, that too.
Like that kind of smell.
And the air felt different too. It felt heavier and oppressive. There was something here that didn't belong here. I had never been more terrified in my life, and I was right then. Every nerve in my body was screaming at me to retreat, to flee. I might have done so in another few seconds, but then Dylan called out, "Hey, what's up?" Me and Greg looked over. He was staring through the kitchen doorway, shining his light at something on the floor. We joined him and saw what the beam of his flashlight was focused upon. On the cracked, grimy, ancient linoleum was the lantern Dylan had given to Terry. It was on its side, smashed to pieces. A few feet beyond it, at the other end of the kitchen, stood a black, gaping square of blackness. A doorway. A doorway leading to the basement. I think all three of us were getting ready to bolt. Then a voice spoke from the darkness beyond the basement door. "Please. Please help me." It was Terry's voice, pleading in a weak, painful groan. I didn't do it in a weak, painful groan. Oh well. "Please help me.
Please, just, oh well. Please help me. Please, just help me. Whatever.
Can I have some more? Please help me. I'm hurt and I can't see. It's dark down here."
No, he's British.
Terry? Dylan stammered? What happened to you, man?"
Like bleeding out. Man, what happened to you, dude?
There was a monster. It attacked me. I fell down the stairs. I think I broke my leg. Please, guys, help me. In spite of my horror and dismay, I felt a small measure of relief. I began to understand what must have happened. Zach had surprised Terry in his costume, and Terry had panicked and gone the wrong way, trying to flee from the house. He had run into the kitchen instead of going out the front door, and had fallen down the basement stairs. Zach must have panicked himself, and then he realized what had happened and slipped out through the rear of the house. "Shit," Dylan whispered to me and Greg. "We're in trouble." Then he called down to Terry. "Okay, hang on, man. We're coming down to get you." Dylan pointed his flashlight down the basement and began to descend the stairs. How much you want to bet it's going to be like a mimic or something? Or...
Ooh, the high behind?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
That'd be so
Shut the fuck
cool.
up. I'm sleep deprived and I can't do that right now.
Dude, that'd be so fucking cool. Keep reading.
Imagine, what if maybe it actually is Dylan and he's actually really hurt.
What if it's...
But I feel like that would be a really cool twist if it was actually a monster pretending to be Dylan. To grab the other ones.
Yeah. That'd be so fucking cool. Or like...
Big brain.
The... What was the Big Brother's name again?
Zach, I think.
Zach? What if it's like something possessed Zach and then stole his body, basically? Like a body snatcher.
Yeah. Like a skinwalker.
Yeah.
It is in the edge of the forest by the town.
I think we're making all this up. Fuck, just read.
Okay.
I don't want to sound rude, but like, fuck, it's getting good. Yeah. It's getting really good.
Alright. I think my narrating is actually really good this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dylan pointed his flashlight down the basement and began to descend the stairs, Greg right behind him. I started to follow them, but then I spotted something. An old refrigerator stood beside the basement door. The refrigerator door was slightly ajar, and something was leaking out of it, dripping steadily into a growing red puddle on the floor. Feeling suddenly very cold, my heart began to beat faster. I stepped closer, aiming my light on the red puddle before the refrigerator. Distantly, I heard Dylan's voice from down below. They must have reached the bottom of the basement stairs. Where the hell is he? Seemingly in slow motion, I reached out a numb hand and grasped the refrigerator's handle, pulling the door all the way open. Terry, Greg's voice called from the basement. Where are you? Terry's mutilated body, splattered corpse was crammed grotesquely inside the refrigerator. His glazed eyes seemed to stare dully at me, accusingly. Terry, Dylan called out doubtfully. I lunged at the basement door, shouting down at my friends. Dylan, Greg, get out! Get out of there now! It's not Terry! Before I could finish, I heard 3 piercing screams in quick succession. The first 2, the third longer. The first scream might have been of shock. The second was probably of terror. But the third protracted scream was unquestionably one of agony. Dylan. Dylan's dying, agonized scream died to silence. But Greg quickly picked up the chorus, screaming my name, screaming for help. Standing in the basement doorway at the top of the stairs, too scared to go to his aid, I shone my light down the direction of Greg's screaming voice. I saw my friend backed into a corner, trapped, his eyes bulging and wild with horror, facing something that was approaching him. I only glimpsed it. That one brief glimpse was enough, more than enough. Enough to imprint itself like a brand upon a scarred hold up. It was a tongue twister. Like a brand upon my scarred psyche. To haunt me in untold nightmares to come for the rest of my life. It wasn't human. I don't think it ever had been. It was tall and slumped and horribly out of proportion. Its head was about 3 feet above its torso, perched on thin, elongated neck like a giraffe. Its long, splinty arms extended at least 6 feet from its shoulders. Its skeletal hands were tipped with long, bloody claws. It appeared to be naked, and its skin was hideous, mottled gray, like the skin of a corpse. It had its back to me, so at least I didn't see its face, which I'm eternally grateful for. If I had, I don't know if I would have kept my sanity. As the thing moved in for the kill, Greg cornered, looked up, locked eyes with me. Help me, he shrieked. But I didn't. Instead, I ran like a coward, abandoning him to his fate. I ran out of that house, back to my bike, and pedaled away as fast as I could. Greg's dying scream chased after me until it abruptly stopped. Weeping, I rode back to Greg's house. I called 911. The police came. They went to investigate the house. Greg's older brother, Zach, was found dead in one of the bedrooms upstairs, his head torn off his shoulders.
Fuck.
Terry was still in the refrigerator where I had discovered him. What was left of Dylan and Greg's bodies were scattered throughout the basement. They had been ripped apart. The cops questioned me, of course, demanding to know what we had been doing there in the first place. I admitted to the prank that we had staged on poor Terry, but didn't tell them about the creature that I had seen in the basement. As traumatized as I was, I know they wouldn't believe me. I simply told them someone else had been in the house, a squatter maybe, some deranged psychopath who had attacked me and my friends, with me being the only one to escape. I told them it was dark and I hadn't gotten a good look at the assailant. They were suspicious of my story. They must have sensed that I was holding something back. It crossed my mind that they might even suspect I had killed them myself. But no one ever accused me outright. There wasn't a drop of blood on me, and I was obviously distressed and shaken over what had happened. The investigation lasted for weeks. Forensic teams scoured the house for any physical evidence but never found anything useful, and the murders were never solved. Not long after, my parents moved me away to a new town for a fresh start. I went on with my life, trying to move past what happened that terrible Halloween night when I was 14. But I never got over the horror and the guilt. For the rest of my teens into my early 20s, I went through a very difficult self-destructive phase. I dropped out of school shortly after the start of my sophomore year in high school, got mixed up in drugs and alcohol, got arrested more than once, got kicked out by my parents, was homeless for a while, and finally went into rehab and got straightened out. I'm married now with 2 children and a semi-decent job in a warehouse. Things are going pretty well for me right now, but I still dwell on what happened that night. Everything Dylan told Terry was fake. There was no old man named McGrutter, no devil worshipping or child sacrifices or demons or murders. It was all made up. It makes me wonder. I think about the power of suggestion, the placebo effect. The story Dylan told wasn't real, but I could tell Terry believed it. Maybe belief was the key. Maybe Terry was so frightened by what he heard, he somehow unwillingly, unconsciously willed it all into reality. They say faith can move mountains. Maybe it's true. But maybe it also means fear can give nightmares flesh. Maybe all the monsters we were scared of when we were kids were more real than we thought they were. I've been thinking about that a lot more lately, especially after what I heard on the news a few days ago. You see that old abandoned house isn't there anymore. About 10 years ago, a developer bought up all that land and built an apartment complex there. The police are investigating a brutal mass murder. The residents of the 3 lower units were all killed during the night, massacred. They have no leads. The police can't even figure out how the killer gained entry. All 3 apartments were locked from the inside. I think whatever horror we accidentally conjured that Halloween night 20 years ago is still there. That's it.
God. Damn, it's all their fault.
That was good.
That was a good story.
It was really good.
Holy shit.
The first comment said, "Great read. Be careful of your thoughts, as the Navajos say. They can become real."
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that was way better than mine. Fuck.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's somebody right here said, "The mimicking of Terry's voice reminds me of wendigos. But the idea that perhaps all of you willed up this creature into existence reminds me of tulpas. If anything, I bet the apartment complex will and should be abandoned soon. It's just bad land, maybe a lack of targets, and it will make the creature just give up." I'm gonna take a picture of that so I can see what the fuck.
The tulpas?
Yeah, tulpas.
That's something to investigate. Wow, that's a good fucking story.
Tulpa is a concept originally from the Tibetan Buddhism and found in later traditions, paranormal or materialized being or thought form, typically in human form. It's created through spiritual practice and intense concentration.
So then, it kind of makes sense.
Well, when I search up Tulpa, Slenderman pops up.
Maybe because, you remember the case where those girls did murder their classmate?
Yeah.
You think maybe that they were also hoping to conjure him up if they just thought hard enough?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something like that?
Maybe.
Because maybe, they knew he was fake.
Mm-hmm.
But if they just tried hard enough, maybe they can summon him.
That'd be really creepy.
That was a good fucking
Me
story.
trying to summon up Shanks from One Piece. Me summoning Shanks from One Piece. Right here. Come on, with the candles all over.
Oh my god. Ugh.
That's crazy, man. I don't know, I'm low-key getting chills. Yeah, that's right here. It says wendigos is the first thing I thought of. Also matches the description of the appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have yet to do a wendigo.
But yeah.
Skinwalker. there's a lot of fucking shit that's still out there.
Oh. Somebody had mentioned, this is something that I was already thinking of, but somebody said Zach must have already been dead before the boys had gotten there.
That's what I've been thinking too, because
he was there an hour before.
Mm-hmm.
And he was killed upstairs. So I'm assuming he was out with his head ripped off.
Yeah.
His shoulders.
What I want to... Can you imagine trying to... Like, the cops trying to pinpoint that murder on the 14-year-old? Like, how the fuck is a 14-year-old gonna rip a head off? Like...
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I mean, at first they don't really know what happens, you know? Mm-hmm. That's why they're kind of like counting down and stuff.
Yeah, I get that, but it's like...
Yeah.
Like, realistically.
And then plus, have you seen some 14-year-olds with their genetics? They're like already 6 feet tall. I mean, you know, like there's 14-year-olds that look like grown-ass adults already. Mm. So, I don't know. You never know. Somebody put, whatever you do, don't go back. You have a family to take care of. I agree.
Jesus. Alright, damn.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm reading the comments to see if there's anything else that's interesting.
Congrats, you did that to your friends or some shit like that.
That would be fucking hella traumatic. Oh, somebody said, no joke, the moment I read this title, I heard screaming.
Oof.
Wow. That's wild. My god.
What?
It's just creepy. It's creepy. That was actually really good.
That was a good one.
That was really, really good.
Alright, you have anything to end this off on, by any chance?
This is actually a short episode. You know what? I honestly do not mind our short episodes. I feel like they're just as good.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't have to be long.
They don't.
We're still
but when they're long is when we, like, ramble a lot.
Yeah.
That's what makes them really, really long.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's going to cover the third episode of the Creepy Caffeinated Chronicles. We hope you guys enjoyed. Especially Ray's story, because my god, fucking beautiful.
Chef's kiss. Mwah. I had a feeling once I saw that it was long and the title, I was like, this is gonna be good.
But until then, we're gonna. You want to take like a little break before we start the next one, or you just like want to get?
Nah, let's just raw dog it.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
I mean, if you want to go take like a potty break and like a break to stand up.
I'm gonna get like a second round of coffee. That's what I was gonna do. Cause you know.
Yeah, you can do that. Right. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
We're gonna take a 5-10 minute intermission. Then we're gonna come back. Record the second episode for episode 16.
Woo-hoo.
But to you guys, it'll be a whole week through the magic of editing and blood, sweat, and tears and prayers.
Now I'm wondering what photos I'm gonna have to pick up. I'm gonna do packaging peanuts. Packaging peanuts and actual peanuts.
Like a peanut butter jar and like packing peanuts and
and
question mark. That's a good one.
I feel like I try my best to try to be funny when it comes to the cover art, unless it's like something really like serious or whatever. But sometimes they're hella funny.
And like a gargoyle or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That can work. But until then, thank you guys for stopping by. Now that I can't believe we're almost like on 20 episodes. Like, it's a weird little marker, but we've recorded so many.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time in a long time we've done a back-to-back episode. We've been talking the talk of trying to do a double episode day.
We're just so busy and we just don't have time.
No, we don't.
Barely have enough time to even do one.
You know, the funny thing is that when you first introduced me to, and that's why we always drink.
And that's why we drink.
Yeah. No, but fuck.
That's why I say ATWWD.
Like, when you first introduced me to that podcast, Em and Christine were always like, oh, I did my story like last minute. Like, it was so hard to write the story or like write their notes. And I'm like, how hard could it be? You have like a whole week. Like, how you have like a whole week to write your story. Like, how hard could that really be?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, we just did both of our like stories like an hour ago. Like, holy shit, yeah.
After this tour that they're doing, their next tour, I'm gonna for sure let you know and we're gonna go. Whether it's just us two or if we drag the other homies with us to go.
If it's us two, that's just as fine. Like, remember, like, our first ever, like, solo hangout with just the two of us was Barbenheimer.
For real!
Yeah.
I just remembered that. That was great.
It was great.
That was fucking fantastic.
I snuck in a bunch of snacks.
And then you have to get an ATW DVD shirt. Because I have one.
Sure.
Even if it's not matching, I mean...
A hoodie or a shirt? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind a hoodie.
The hoodies go hard, not gonna lie.
I'll try to go for a hoodie.
Yeah. I think you can find one at the store and then just show up with the merch already.
I was gonna get you, like, I think last year for your birthday, I was gonna try to get you one.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. But I was like, it was getting too late. I'm like, I don't know if it'll be here by that time.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Now we gotta figure out what we're gonna do for Nicole for her birthday. She's down to do another escape room. So I'm like, let's do it.
Now with Daisy here?
Yeah. It's gonna be hilarious.
The same place, hopefully, too.
Yeah, we can, because they have the Puzzle Master. Shoot. I can look more into it later. I can plan it. Nicole's all like, I don't mind. She's like, I like how you did it last year. You can plan it again. And I said, okay. So, I don't know.
Should I cut that part out? Or we just leave that there?
No, you could leave it. She already knows because I asked her. I was like, can I plan your... am I going to plan your thing or what? And then she's like, yeah, you can plan it. And I was like, do you want to go to an escape room or not? She's like, I'm down to go to another escape room. So I was like, okay, cool.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool, yeah.
All right. Then we're going to wrap it up for right now. If you guys are on Spotify, give us a rating. 5-star, 4-star, even 3-star, if that's your take. Take a part of the poll that I'm going to leave down below. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment, leave a like, favorite it, share it, whatever you got to do. And we will see you guys on the next week's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.